What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We got a special episode of Track Talkers, Uncle Ty. This is going to be a good one, dude. Just a quick little interview with the man.
And from another moto brother?
Yeah, come on, baby. Let me introduce the 2013 Lights champion, a troll trainer, TLD's team manager. Welcome to the show. Will Hahn, say what's up.
How are we doing, boys?
We're doing really good, actually. We're stoked to be here. Stoked to get to see you every weekend.
Dude, it's been kind of fun, right? Like, I feel like the vibe in the truck's always like pretty high. We got a good group of guys around with Colt, yourself, Chiz, like Larry, Ken, like all the mechanics are rad. Like, it's been really fun.
Yeah, it's been really awesome. But let's get right into this. Let's trim the fat off. And so I was talking to Cole Davies' dad, and after one of the races, I think it was Seattle, and we were talking about his whole story because obviously he is a phenom in our sport right now. He is one of the kids that is a rising star. And the more and more I talked to Cole Davies' dad, the more he just mentioned your name and how thankful he was for everything that you've done for him and his family and Cole and just everything. And I was like, wow, that's absolutely amazing. He's like, dude, you have to get him on the podcast. If you want to do anything for us, help out Will in any way, shape, or form. I thought that was pretty amazing to hear coming out of Cole Davies' dad's mouth, just because, I haven't heard the exact story, but at the same time, I know they've been through hell and high water getting over here from New Zealand, from absolutely nothing. So just take us through, where you guys met, how you guys met, and, that meeting at first.
So, I mean, kind of to break it down and to not elaborate for, 3 hours here, but basically he came over, and I could get a couple of dates here wrong, but I believe it was 22 at Anaheim 2. This kid comes out of nowhere, and I see this kid on a Yamaha, and I see he's working with Ben Townley, right?
Yeah.
And I see he goes out, leads it for a while, pretty damn close to a podium, and gets fourth. And he's pretty small. You can tell he's young.
Yeah.
And just rode so well. Like I was kind of blown away technique-wise that I hadn't seen anything like that at that age. Probably ever, in my opinion. And that calculated. And again, he was really, really small. It reminded me a lot of myself at like 13, 14. I'm on a 50F and you're probably not ready, but you're just making it happen type of thing. And obviously, when I say it reminds me of myself, I mean size. I didn't ride nearly that good. I'm not even going to try to act like that. But,
dude, Will, you rode really fucking good, dude.
Well, thank you. But I can't even begin to be on that level. But so I remember just texting Ben after the race and being like, hey, really good job with this kid. Like, super impressed, dude. Like really, really cool. Said thanks. And I could tell Ben was like, he had more, And so long story short, he stays over here. I know he spent a couple of days and maybe a couple of weeks with Ryan Villapoto, and RV was able to take him to the track because obviously Ben's busy going back and forth to New Zealand, and they were going to try to base over here and do a couple more rounds. And Ben and actually Josh Coppins had reached out to me and asked, hey, would you be able to maybe work with him and kind of add him to his your program? Like, he's raw. Like, he doesn't really done any gym, like very minimal training. It's basically just been dirt bike, and that's it, which is, perfect for that age. He's 14 at the time. And,
wow.
I spoke with the TK and everybody at TLD, and I said, hey, this kid's on a Yamaha, but like, you think we can like kind of add him in the group and like let him kind of tag along? And fortunately, everybody part of that was fully on board with it and was like, yeah, like bring him in,
sick.
And obviously we wanted to look at him too, obviously selfishly, hopefully what if this kid's
really good. Yeah.
And basically kind of had like a tryout where he came in and just, I want you to come spend a couple weeks with me. And if you like it, great. And if not, no harm, no foul. Like, don't worry about money, nothing like that. Just come hang out with us for a couple of weeks and see if you jive with it. And if not, no stress, and ended up just kind of taking off from there. Obviously he had to go back and forth to New Zealand. He still was in a championship there that he needed to go wrap up. He did end up getting hurt, I believe, at Glendale, if I remember right.
Yep.
And then came back for Dallas again. And we were just kind of trying to make things happen. And like right away with the kid, the number one thing that I realized right away was there was like zero gray area. You know what I mean? Like if you told him something on the track, he applied it. And if it didn't work right away, he did it until he figured it out. And I had never seen anything at that age be able to, for one, take in the information and apply it, but also not do it 3 times and be like, that doesn't work, and just kind of move on, you know, where you have to constantly beat it into the head and until it maybe works. But he was also at such a high skill set coming from working with Ben and obviously Josh and them over there in New Zealand. Yamaha had an awesome program for him. So, and got him going on the platform that, you know, we're seeing now. I think that, you know, I'd like to take some credit for it, but I mean, ultimately it was those guys. Like those guys were the ones that built this kid, and we're just able to reach out with their contacts, like myself here, and put them in a group. And Ben was just very adamant that like he felt like he would fit in with me really well. And then from there, it just kind of went to Cole's dad, Wayne, and myself. You know, it's funny because we laid out this plan and like, this is long-term, this is the goal. And we set out all these goals, and we were able to achieve them very quickly. And it's cool because I really felt like Wayne kind of put a lot of pressure on me. And I mean that in a good way. Like it was like, hey, this is what I expect from you. This is what I expect from Cole. And Cole knew that. Like Cole was aware of everything and the sacrifices that were going on with his family and being over here with his mom most of the time. Dad's back working, his sisters are home. Like, you know, obviously it's easier for him than most people that get transplanted to the United States from, you know, overseas, because English is his first language. So that's what he had going, but that's about it. You know, there's no friends. There's the food's not the same. Nothing's the same. You know, your adjustment period. Like I remember the first protein shake I gave, the kid spit it out. I was like, no chance.
No,
he was like, no chance I'm drinking that, you know? And it's like, it's funny. And just like, again, the progression of it, but we, you know, next thing leads to another race on the Yamaha, and comes over, goes back to Tallahassee for a little bit, kind of going all over, what he needed to do, go race, go see other climates, go ride other tracks, go ride all these conditions. And right after Ironman, he was going to come back here with us and continue training. And we went to Ironman, and I remember I'd been like hounding Daniel, like, hey dude, like you got to give this kid a shot. Like, please. Like I'm begging,
because right now he's
like, just give him a shot.
Yeah. He's on like his own Yamaha deal. Just to clarify, this is not the Star deal. This is way before that. This is like him just on his regular Yamaha.
I want to say this would have been probably into 2023 at that point.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering right. And we were at Ironman, and I remember like, I'm like, Daniel, you got to come over, come meet the family. Like, and just watch the kid. Like, and everyone says outdoors aren't his strength, but I mean, just give it time. The kid with that kind of skill set, he's going to figure it out. And it's funny because we're over there, and like, if you look at the bike, the program, like, it was a bike that they got here, you know, Yamaha US was able to provide him a bike, but it had very minimal stuff on it. And that was practice bike, race bike, kind of all the above type thing. Right. So it's not like it had a good motor, you know, suspension. It was PC, like it had very minimal upgrades. And to be as competitive as he was, I felt like on that bike. And I mean, dude, day one at the test track, when he hit the whoops at 14, I was like, what? I just remember being like, are you kidding me? Like he could go to 5th. He could do whatever I told him to do. It was like he was like 25 years old. And I'm just sitting there scratching my head going like,
and not only 25, not only 25, but like a 25-year-old that's also good at whoops, because there's still a lot of 25-year-olds that suck at whoops.
100%.
Correct. And I'm going like, dude, this kid has no strength. Like I wish I could show you this picture of the first day he was in the gym. Like I want to say, if I remember right, he was like 118 pounds. He hasn't ever done any gym. Like we just very easily, you know, worked him into the program. And then by next thing you know, like he's putting muscle on, then he's going through a growth spurt, and puberty's hitting, and all this stuff is just kind of lining up at the right time. And
so you're Will, so you're just telling me he's just, at this point, he's 100% talent right now.
Yes. When he, with me, it was literally like I was just blown away, where I'm like, this is all skill. Like this is all just skill. He knows what he's doing. And again, a great listener. That's number one. Like I can't stress enough to kids, like even right now that are going to listen to this, like he listens, he applies. Like that's very difficult to do. Like I'm guilty of that. Like I got told a lot of things in my career that I couldn't apply or just didn't, because I probably knew better, whatever the case was.
Yeah.
And, you know, I didn't know better, but my brain was probably like, you know, whatever.
I thought I knew better. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And you're, you know, especially from that 14 to 18-year-old group, when you're in that mindset, like, you know everything, you're the smartest guy in the room at all times, but reality is you're probably the dumbest. And so,
so true.
But like, again, fast forwarding at that, it was like, okay, I knew we had something here, and how do we make this work, type of thing. And you know, between myself and Wayne and everybody, we pushed for the gas deal, and that way it'd be a lot easier with us, right? Because then he could ride KTM track with us, not just TLD, because we had our own track, but that's one track, you know? So if we went to KTM, he couldn't come with us on the Yamaha, etc.
Yeah.
So just to try to make it all kind of seamless and then fit into my group perfectly, because I was, you know, it was Ryder, Pierce, him, and Cole. So, you know, if we went public, we'd ride with Cole. If not, you know, he was going to Honda at the time, or riding TLD with us as well.
Yes.
So it just kind of made it very seamless at the time. And luckily, you know, Daniel, you know, he listened, and he was able to say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to give this kid a chance. And the dad was willing to take a full chance on themselves, bet on themselves, and it was for futures only and Supercross only. You know, he had to win and had to deliver. And I remember like it was yesterday, you know, we're going this off season, and, you know, we were obviously changing the bike was a big deal to him. He's been in Yamaha his whole life. And just to adjust to a new platform, never ridden another motorcycle, let alone Austrian brand, et cetera. It's different, you know, steel frame, aluminum frame, different power characteristics, all the above. And luckily with my contacts, we got them set up with Factory Connection. They were awesome. I was able to call Ziggy. We had the guys out here that are local in California that were helping. They would come out to the test track and test with us. And then not to mention that, but like even in the engine department in KTM, they were super helpful to Cole, and like willing to try a couple of things with him between Leighton and you know, my old mechanic at the time was in the engine department, Jay. He was building amateur motors, so then he was kind of invested, and he's from New Zealand, so it kind of made this tie that was like even kind of cooler. So then he, you know, he had this kid he's rooting for, because obviously it's, you know, his own country, and like he wanted to see him, you know, succeed, because it's not often that, like, again, I mean, the broadcast and everything has showed that, like, it's not often a guy from New Zealand. I mean, Ben was the last guy, you know, we've had Coppins, we've had, you know, Cody Cooper and all these guys, but it's very rare, especially Supercross. And so with that said, like, it just was like kind of this perfect storm that was really working. And go to Anaheim 2, not really sure how it's going to go down. And I mean, the kid performed, and he rode like crap all day, to be honest with you. And I kind of knew after that night that the next step was going to be easy for him, because I don't think I've ever put that amount of pressure on someone to win the race. Because in his contract, it was like, to extend it or to just to keep going, dude, past May, like, you got to win a race, like, now. Like, let's get it out of the way now so we can go have fun the rest of these.
Yes.
And whatever happens after that, you can learn. If you crash, it is what it is. But let's get one win out of the way right now.
Yeah.
And he qualified, dude. I think he qualified like 9th. It was terrible. He could not put a lap together. And I'm just like kind of scratching my head, because the off season, I'm like, dude, this kid's good. And so I know before the night show, like, him and his dad, we put a lot of pressure on him to get it done tonight. Like, you don't have a choice. Tonight's the only time. Like, you got to treat this like it's a one race deal.
Yeah.
And that kid went out and rose up, got the start, made some fumbles, battled with Towers, you know, and Towers is on star at that point. So that's, you know, he's already got kind of a solidified ride. Yeah, it's a really big deal. And we kind of came in under the radar and was able to do it that night. And I remember being on the podium and telling those guys, like, hey, you better get him wrapped up. Star's going to come.
Yeah. That's pretty, dude. I just got goosebumps hearing that story.
I mean,
can only imagine.
That's like
how
Will.
Cole's
I think
feeling.
Will saying that is because, you know, that's that moment that changes the entire trajectory,
the turning
of your
point,
life.
Yes,
that moment.
Yeah.
And especially, like I said, the amount of pressure that we put on him that night, and when he was able to go out there and perform, I was like, this kid's going to do something. Like, there's just no option. And and again, without the trust from his parents and you know, and Cole himself, that's not possible, right? Like, it's got to be the right match. They trusted me with a really young kid in California, where he would even come spend time with me, or like go away from them, or like I'm watching him, and then I'm kind of looking over him and being that somewhat of a role model as well. And then, like, obviously my group was awesome too, but between Pierce, Ryder, and Cole, they treated him like a little brother, right? Like, but in the best way possible. We're harp on him at times, give him some shit at times, but also guide him, you know. And I think it was just a really good symmetry we had as a whole, and it was really, really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to rewind just a little bit. Something you mentioned that I thought was interesting is you said his dad, Wayne, Cole's dad, Wayne, put a lot of pressure on you at that point. You know, what What do you think that particular pressure came from? Was it because he knew he didn't have much longer? Were they stressing about their money situation? Were they stressing about, this is kind of the only opportunity we're going to have? Where do you think that pressure from Cole's dad was coming from on you?
I think, and looking back on it and kind of understanding them and the goal, right? The goal was to get on a factory level team and go race Supercross at a very high level on, hopefully one of the best teams, if not the best. And basically understanding you only get one shot to really make that splash.
Yeah.
And I think we all kind of knew what was at stake. And I think he wanted to make that known. And honestly, I think he wanted to put that kind of pressure on Cole to see if he had what it took. Yeah. And there's one way to find out, right? And the kid, it was kind of sink or swim, and the kid swam, man.
Yeah.
And the dad was very adamant about that. Like, let's have a plan. He would check in with me a lot, and and everything I'm saying, I don't want that to come across negative. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt very accountable. I felt very plugged in, and I felt very on it with him, including all my guys. And I feel like I put that level in with everybody, but at the same time, it was really cool to feel that involved, because it wasn't just, this or that. I was very involved with the bike, the testing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and along with TLD, like if it wasn't for Ollie and those guys and a lot of TK trusting me, I would steal foot pegs to try for him. Like, okay, do we have that taller foot pegs? Like, let's put them on. Let's see if Cole likes them. Yep, he likes them. Okay, here's 2 sets. You know what I mean? Like without that, it wouldn't have been nearly as easy, because, and even FC, I remember buying a linkage overnight because Zicky was like, hey, I think you need to try this linkage. That's what he's struggling with. I think this is, because I would call Zicky and be like, this is his complaint.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just be like, okay, I think this is the direction. So I would just buy it. I was like, screw it. I'll just buy a linkage for him. And if it works, great. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
And
that's badass.
So that apply it, the team would give him a lowered subframe stuff, little stuff that's not that achievable and easy to get as a privateer or an amateur. Just, it's not that easy to just try or go get one cut because we don't have enough.
Yeah.
And yes, he had good support from KTM. I'm not trying to say that, but at the same time, it's not that simple.
No,
always.
It's not.
So to be able to plug and play and be like, hey, let's try this gearing. Let's try these wheels. Okay, you like that suspension. Okay, let's try this. And it was like, I felt like we had a really good group, really supporting it. Everybody, I felt like on the team, had my back as well, which was really cool. Because I'm like, hey, I really think this kid is something.
Yeah.
And they were willing to hey, let's help out. Like, I think Ollie shipped wheels to a race one time. Then Ollie would help at the race to make sure, go over the shoulder of the mechanics there and make sure the clutch was right and this and that. And it's we were fully invested. We had tire warmers on his bike at a race and stuff where no one else had that option.
No.
Warming up at our truck, feeling a part of it, watching film in our rig between motos. That way, I wanted him to understand what the next level was going to be like too. Not only get him in a good spot where it was going to be achievable to go do what he wanted and go achieve this next goal, right? But at the same time, you got to have him understand, because when I came in, dude, I didn't know what the hell I was in for. I was like, holy shit! I walked out of Anaheim 1 and I'm like, wow, this is gnarly.
Yeah.
100%. And so you need to understand that. So then when it's there, you're not surprised either. I think that's why, again, he is being so successful. He already knew what he was getting himself into.
Yeah. Will, so I know we don't have much more time with you, and I want to be mindful of that, but looking back, obviously you're a way bigger part, I think, than
Dude,
you're
a
way bigger.
Yeah,
you're a way bigger part of his career than you're willing to admit.
He was. It sounded like Cole Davies a little just plug into the industry just to fast track of what a fast rider needs to just perform, and just the day-to-day stuff that people don't understand that you need when you ride as much as you need to ride and prepare for an SMX next event and being on that level.
Yeah, and Will did all that shit.
Yes.
And I know Will, I know you won't claim it, but the way that Wayne was talking about you, I now understand with what you're saying, how big of a part you really were. Looking back on, that whole situation and really helping out a star of our sport, what moment, other than him rising up and getting that win, are you most proud of and you're going to remember in that, story of Cole Davies?
Well, it's hard to honestly put it on one, but there's 2 things, and I'm going to get a little choked up. I'm going to try not to here, but Like in so many ways, I'm like proud of it, right? Like I would say I'm proud of being a small part of it because like I said, without Ben, without his dad, I mean, there's so many people that had a part of this to make this so achievable because it was such a gnarly feat to get over here, et cetera. Number one was Dallas because there was a really slick set of whoops. I think it was still on the Yamaha, on his privateer Yamaha. And I just knew his whoop speed was good enough to get on the podium. Like I didn't know if he could win quite yet because I don't think he even quite believed it, but his starts were really good and his whoops were really good. So I was like, well, the rest of it, you just do the jumps and it's kind of simple at this level. Like no one's like going super low in the corners like Coop and being like crazy, right? So I'm like, if you can get through the whoops clean, get a good start, you're going to put yourself in good position pretty easily here. And man, I told him one night at Dallas, I said, hey, this next qualifying practice, hit fifth in the whoops. He's like, what do you mean? I said, come in fifth gear. And I said, commit. I said, they're slick, dude. I said, I'm just telling you on a 250F, you want to hit them the way. And I said, I know your level of skill. You can hit them in fifth. And he's okay. Well, dude, he comes out of the corner. And like, when I told him to commit, I didn't quite mean what he ended up doing. Dude, this kid came out of the corner. He never shut off, bro. And I'm telling you, he like levitated 6 whoops in. And I'm in the mechanics area, right? Because I'm like going down there. I'm like, I want to be a part of it. And I watch him jump like 6 whoops in, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, I killed the kid. So he drops the front, weeds it super bad. And I'm like, oh man, that was so bad. So I get over to him. I said, that's my fault. Like he still can't. I don't have his breath back yet. And I'm like, that was my fault. I knew you were going to take that literal, and I didn't explain it clear enough. I meant once you're in, then open it up. I didn't mean come in fifth gear wide open.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So
I mean, that's
like, okay,
it though, right?
We gotta love the commitment and the trust, but then that's like you gotta now. Will's like, okay, now I know what you like, how much trust you have in me, so I'll explain a little bit more, and you'll still do it.
Yes.
And that's kind of like I said, the moment that I was just like, holy crap, like this kid's gonna take everything to heart, without question. And
that's sick.
And I'm just like, man, like he's unbelievable. But then no, after that was, once he kind of got the star deal, we had like our last training day together before he moved to Florida. And we were leaving the track. He was in my truck with me, and we were pulling out. And I said, hey, dude, I said, you're gonna do great. Like I'm super proud of you. Like, and we set out this goal, and you're achieving it, dude. Like, yeah, it sucks for me to lose you and whatever, but you're gonna do great. Like this was the goal. And dude, he looked over at me and he got like super choked up and gave me a big hug. And he was just like, man, like I don't really want to leave you, dude. And I like right then I was like, I knew we were close, but you don't know, what I mean? Like, we don't have like heart to hearts or anything like that. And then I kind of realized how much of an influence I was at that point. And I was just like I got super choked up, kind of had some tears come out, and I was just like kind of heavy, right? Where I'm like, holy crap, like we're even closer than I thought. And so like that moment right there, I was like, man, that family was forever special to me.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Will, thank you so much. It's just a little quick interview. Wow, what a story, huh?
We appreciate for you telling it and coming on here and
Dude,
blessing us with your time, because we always been a Will Hahn fan, and hopefully your brother's doing good, Tommy. And
he's crushing it. He's at a facility back in Texas, training kids, doing the same thing I am. He's got some good up and comers that he's really proud of, and he's invested in, and kind of getting, I feel like, reciprocating the same kind of. You're living through these kids now, right? Like we don't race anymore, and that's fine. But you still get. I almost feel like it's almost more rewarding in a lot of ways. Like even seeing Cole, like last Saturday night for me, that was like such a proud moment because you're a small part of that, right? And it's just like, man, like,
you're a bigger part than you think.
Well, Will, shout out your brother, dude. Where is he training? How can you find him?
Let's talk about Will's whole deal real quick before we go. Will, you're a part of the troll training deal. You're training guys. I know Colt's one of them. Colt Nichols is one of them. Landon Gordon, another star in the making, is also one of your guys, correct?
Yes. So we have a group out here with Max Miller, Landon Gordon, and Revan.
Yep.
Kids are awesome. They've been, again, it's been a really fun group, super productive, no attitudes, and everybody in the gym. It's been freaking cool, man. And then on the off season here, once TLD had closed the doors and closed that chapter, I had talked with John and Alex, and we had talked previously, a couple years prior leading into this about kind of doing something together. They're Midwest boys. We always got along really well. We kind of had the same views in training.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I would bounce a lot of stuff off John when I was having, second guessing myself when I was at TLD, and he was very open and not something I would ever take for granted. So it was just the right fit. And that's turned into having, quite a few clients online through troll training. We all work together. And it's been really, really cool, a fun experience.
That's awesome.
Vision.
So now, can you sign up to troll training to exclusively train with you, or how does it work? Like, if somebody wants to train with you, how do you get in contact?
So basically, you just go on the troll training website, you select training. There's multiple options of levels and how invested you are, whether you're, a local guy who wants to get better. Even if you don't ride, you just want to be a little bit more fit, whatever. There's a fitness program, there's a eating program, there's tons of options on there. And when you go to select the training, you select the level you want, and then you have an option between myself, John, Bjorn, and Alex. So
Nice.
there's options, and you click whoever one you want. We all work together on it and go from there. But it's really, really cool. And like I said, it doesn't matter. You can select one of us. You want a guy to help out. I mean, that's how we're doing it. So it makes it really, really easy.
Wow, that's super cool. Thanks, Will. We appreciate you being on. We appreciate the story. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for having such a big part of one of the rising stars in our sport. And we'll see you this weekend.
Sounds good, guys. I appreciate having me on. Thanks for your time.
Heck yeah, you know it. Thanks, Will.